for this point, I will bring to light an example that I like with Galileo. Galileo faced this problem because he was one of the first early adopters of the telescope. And he didn't invent it, but he was one of the early adopters, and his genius was figuring out that you can point this thing at the stars, at the moon, and see amazing things that you can't see with your naked eye. For example, he would look at Jupiter, and he would actually be able to resolve and to count like 4 moons of Jupiter that you couldn't see with the naked eye. So he discovered these moons, and then he went to his to his colleagues at the time. Now, keep in mind, of course, everybody was religious back then. So this does not preclude science. All scientists in Galileo's time were all religious people. That doesn't mean they were dumb. But he took this information to them, and he said, hey, look, I discovered these extra moons. And they said, no, that's impossible. There can't be moons revolving around Jupiter because, our model of the solar system doesn't have these kinds of moons. That's impossible. And he said, well, I'm not asking you to believe me or to take this on as faith. Here's the telescope. I invented this, I invented this device. Look up in the sky and you can count the moons for yourself. And what did they tell him? Did they say, oh, okay, yeah, let's look in there? No, of course not. Because they were coming from the position that there are no such moons and there couldn't be such moons. Therefore, what that means is that any moons that are visible through this telescope, obviously, that's a work of the devil. It's an illusion. So they condemned his telescope as the work of the devil, and they never looked into it. And then, of course, they even got him into trouble, and then eventually he went up in house arrest and so forth for various other positions that he held. But anyways, I love this example because what it shows you is that the human mind's capacity for denial of data is infinite. It's bottomless. You can deny any data that is presented to you. All you have to do is deny the method that yields the data. You see? If I find something through a microscope that contradicts your worldview, that threatens your worldview, and I try to present it to you, what do you got to do? All you have to do is discredit the microscope as a method. You have to say, that's not real science. If I discover some data with radar that threatens your worldview, all your ego has to do is just say, well, of course, radar, that's for idiots. Radar is pseudoscience. Are you getting how the game works? There is no neutrality or objectivity in how your mind understands reality. Your mind is constructing reality on the fly. And what you consider science is part of the meaning-making system of your ego mind. This is not objective at all, even though your ego mind tells you that it's, of course, objective. Anything the ego mind imagines as being real, it considers to be objectively true. That's exactly how religious people fool themselves. But so do scientists.